is if your camera is switched on, kindly do not make movements on the screen. It might disturb the speaker. Kindly keep your microphones in mute unless and until you are required to speak as per your role. Kindly make sure that you have water and other necessary things next to you or near you. With this, I would like to hand over the virtual screen to Toastmaster Libby. Today, the presiding officer is Toastmaster Libby. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
A very good evening and welcome to all our Toastmasters and guests. So I've decided to take a page from Sanish's book and ask all of you to switch on your cameras, switch on your videos, I mean. And we're going to click a picture. Come on, guys. We are 24 of us. I need to see 24 faces. Nikesh, Kaustubh, Santosh, Harshada, Sagar, Sakshi. I'm waiting. I'm definitely not moving ahead till I see all the pictures. Sakshi and Mitali, can you start your videos, please? Nikesh, you too?
Yes, just a minute.
Vidya, photo time. You must definitely have yours on.
After 5 minutes, once again.
Okay, I think I'll go ahead and click the picture. Say cheese. So coming back to, I think we have a few guests with us. If the guest could, just give me to how did you hear about Toastmasters and what is it that you are looking for from Toastmasters? I had seen a few of them. Mitali, would you like to?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, in 2019, so whenever I was preparing for my CAT exams for MBA, so in that time, one of my teachers explained me about Toastmasters. If anyone want to increase their leadership skills or presentation skills, or they want to remove their fear in public speaking, then they can join in Toastmasters. So around 3 years, I was dreaming for I will join the Toastmasters, but due to COVID and all, I didn't join. So I only attend one times at online, but I was always thinking I will join at offlines because offline meeting is too different. So finally I joined in your Toastmaster. So I'm so happy for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mitali. How about you, Nikesh? I had seen Sakshi also somewhere. Manoj, would you like to share something?
Hey, hi, good evening, Libby, and good evening, all my Toastmasters friends. My name is Manoj. I used to be in Bandra Toastmasters Club. I've been there for 6 months, and then after I couldn't continue to my master's studies and all. But here I have completed my master's with distinction. So I've decided to resume back with my to the nearest location of Toastmaster. I'm here to kind of polish my communication skill. Though I have decent one, but I want to master it as like you guys. So wish me luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Manoj. So I think we'll come back to Sakshi and Nikesh after some time, or maybe at the end of the meeting. So to start off with, I would actually like to tell you a story of this little boy who on a summer day, he approaches this store which has a public phone. This tiny little boy, he drags a stool from a corner, he climbs on top um, uh, of the stool, and then with his very tiny fingers, he dials a number. And he starts speaking to this person, and he starts off with wishing good morning, ma'am, and offers his services as somebody who would cut the grass on her lawn. So the lady tells him that no, I already have somebody and I don't need your services. But since the kid is very persistent, he insists. He says, I will even work for half the price that your current employee is working with you. The lady still insists, no, no, I am extremely happy with the person. I do not want to hire anybody new. But the guy won't give up, so he comes up with the next solution, where he says that, I would even sweep up your verandas for you, and I would even trim your bushes for you. But the lady is so happy with her current employee that she says no. She's adamant about it, and she says that no, she's not going to hire anybody new. Eventually, the boy says, okay, thank you, and he hangs up the phone. So now the storekeeper has been listening very attentively to this boy and is very impressed with his positive attitude, with his perseverance, and he offers the job. He offers a job to the kid. He says, "Hey kid, you looking for a job? I can definitely give you one at my store." So the boy goes and says, "No, no, I'm not looking for a job." So then the shopkeeper is very surprised. He said, "You were so persistent on the phone. You were literally begging for a job." So the kid goes ahead and says, no, actually, I am the employee that the lady had hired, and I was just checking to see if she is happy with my performance. So he basically wanted feedback and evaluation for his performance. Now, feedback and evaluation are the cornerstones of Toastmasters. We all know that we've been a part of Toastmasters for so long. Meaningful feedback actually reinforces outstanding performance and encourages us to work on areas of improvement. Today, Agnel Toastmasters is assessing various moment of truth occasions when a member or a guest comes into contact with any aspect of Toastmasters. Now, if I refer to Cambridge Dictionary, it defines moment of truth as an occasion where something important happens that tests someone or something, and that will have an effect on the future. So on behalf of the executive committee of Agnel Toastmasters, I would encourage all of you to participate in this session. And we look forward to your feedback, which will enable us to create magical moments of truth for you and future Toastmasters. Having said that, I would now like to call upon our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Aditya. So if I have to introduce Toastmaster Aditya to you, he tells me he's cure affirmative. He's a hardcore foodie. I mean, that I can understand. He's from Ahmedabad and identifies as an ENFPT. He's currently working with Reliance Retail as a category trade planner and is also the founder of Matrix Toastmasters Club in Ahmedabad. So we are hoping he will join Agnel very shortly. And he says his philosophy is to be real and to be honest. Would make this world a better place than what you got it. So without further ado, Toastmaster Aditya, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much for that beautiful introduction, Toastmaster Libby. I just want to check once, am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry I don't have my system right now. I had to make last minute changes. But yeah, Toastmasters is all about spontaneity, so just embracing it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Toastmaster of the day. I am the host for today's meeting. And every Toastmasters meeting consists of 3 segments. First, the prepared speeches segments where we have veterans as well as novices come together and deliver speeches as a part of their project pathways. The second segment is the table topic segment where we have the members as well as the guests delivering impromptu speeches for 1 to 2 minutes. Lastly, my favorite segment, the breakfast for the champions, where we have every element of the Toastmasters meeting evaluated, screened by a dedicated team of evaluators. For this gargantuan task, we have a tag team. Before I introduce the tag team, it's time for me to introduce my team. Today's theme, as many of you must be knowing, is cracking interviews. How many of you had an experience of acing an interview? I just aced it. It was just perfect. They loved me. A quick raise of hands. Amazing, amazing. Manoj, Toastmaster Shobhit, Toastmaster Vinay. Yes, me too. I've had my share of successes in acing interviews. At the same time, I've had my failures in interviews. So I've curated some content that can help you ace any interviews using a systematic approach. So can someone tell me what are the different stages of an interview? Anyone, just unmute yourself and let the chaos begin.
Technical round, HR round.
Yes, there is a technical round where they grill you and HR round where you talk about philosophy. Any other segment in an interview
Group
process?
discussion. Group discussion.
Yes, you have a group discussion. Well, let me tell you, to apply for any job, first of all, you prepare a resume and then you appear for the interview and ace it. And then finally, there is a negotiation round, and I'll be grooming you and helping you with all these three stages within limited time. And it's time for me to introduce the tag team. The tag team today is a very special team because we have two Toastmasters performing for the first time. Please help me welcome the grammarian of today's meeting. Her first role, Toastmaster Ishika Bakshi.
A very good evening to everyone. I am Ishika, and today I'll be playing the role of a grammarian. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take a note of any incorrect usage of grammar as well as any good usage of words, quotes, saying, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. Now I'll be sharing my screen with you. Can everyone see it? Okay. So the word of the day is thrive, which means to flourish. It derived from the word tripaks. Usage, and its usage is libraries are about people, not books, as they survive and thrive even in digital age. I'll be also introducing the phrase of the day, which is bite off more than you can chew, which means to take on project that you cannot finish. And its usage is be careful not to bite more than you can chew. Take a day off sometime. I will encourage the Toastmasters to use these words and phrases while they are presenting their portions. I'll give my report when called upon by General Evaluator. Thank you, and over to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ishika. Job well done for the first time. Now it's time for me to welcome another first timer, the timer of today's meeting. Please help me welcome Nikunj Savalia, the timer of today's meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and also guests. So, as a timer, my duty is to time the prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluations. We are not going to have table topics today. So, I will be timing the prepared speeches and evaluations. For prepared speeches, for both of the today's speaker, the timing is 5 to 7 minutes. And for the evaluations, the timing is 2 to 3 minutes. So speaker must meet the specified time limit to qualify for the awards at the end of the meeting. And I'll be displaying the green card. As my virtual background, I'll be showing green screen. The green screen at the start of the speech, like for at 5 minutes, it will be qualifying time. The yellow screen, it will be the midpoint of the speech, and the red screen at the end of the speech. For and for the speeches, for prepared speeches and evaluations, the speaker will have 30-second grace before the minimum qualifying time and after the maximum qualifying time. So all the speakers who continue to speak beyond 30-second grace will not qualify for the vote, and I'll report the time taken by the speakers when called upon. So that's all. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nikunj. Perfectly done. Moving ahead with the third player of the tag team, please help me welcome the R counter of today's meeting, Toastmaster Amrita Deshmukh.
Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmaster and dear guest. I am the R counter for the day. As the R counter, I will notice the words and sound that are used as crutch or fillers by the speakers. During this meeting, I will listen to the crutch words such as and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds such as and I will note when a speaker repeat a phrases such as I, this means, and long and short pauses. I will give my report when called by general evaluator. Thank you so much, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Deshmukh. Moving ahead with my team, cracking interviews. Can anyone tell what are the aspects evaluated in an interview? What is the evaluator or the interviewer trying to evaluate in you? Anyone?
Your knowledge, confidence.
Absolutely. Knowledge. Do you possess the knowledge enough for the, and confidence? Are you confident enough to deal with people? Now, let me tell you, it is very simple. The interviewer looks for only 3 criterion. Can you imagine? And the 3 criterion are skills relevant to the role. Number 2, experience so that you could ace the role. And thirdly, the fit with the role and fit with the organization. There are people who have amazing skills, amazing computer skills, software skills, communication skills, but they don't possess the right culture fit. Their personality doesn't suit with the values and culture of the organization, and therefore they get rejected. There are a lot of people who have amazing personality, but because they don't have the necessary qualifications, they don't qualify. So make sure when you apply for an organization, when you apply for a role, you keep these 3 factors in mind: the skills, the experience, and the fit. That will help you in long term. Now, what are the skills? So the first stage is actually applying for the job that is trying to hire you. Applying, sending your resume. I'm sure we all have prepared resume at some point in time, but I just want someone to tell me what is the difference between a resume and a CV. Anyone? Am I audible? Am I there in the meeting?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah.
A CV is for a fresher. Yeah. A CV is for a fresher, a resume is for an experienced professional. I'm correct.
Not really.
I think resume can be of only 1 page and CV can be more than 1 page.
Absolutely, very well spoken. That is the perfect answer. A resume is a 1-pager. You give the details, whatever is relevant to the job or the company. While a CV tells anything and everything about you. your qualifications, your skills, your hobbies, your experiences, your achievements, your milestone, everything. You encapsulate all of these necessary element into one page, and that becomes your resume. And preparing a resume is actually the make it or the break it of any interview. You might be actually the perfect candidate for the job, but because your resume is not qualifying enough, you won't qualify. So how to build a good resume? There are 4 skills that you'll have to list in a resume, and make note of these 4 types of skills. Number 1 is transferable skills. These are the type of skills that are suitable in various roles and various employers. Almost all roles and all employers are looking for this one particular skill, and this is a transferable skill. A very good example of transferable skill is communication. Because when you can't communicate, how will you survive in any job? Whether internal stakeholders or external stakeholder, you will have to make a point at multiple instances. So number 1, include transferable skills in your resume. Number 2, systemic skills. These are the hard skills that the job requires you. For example, if you are a coder, if you are a business analyst, you are required to have a qualification in C, C++, Visual Basic, Python. And these are systemic skills. These are the basic fundamental skills that the organization expects from you. The other 2 type of skills are self-oriented skills and people-oriented skills. Self-oriented skills are those skills that you use to get your job done. For example, if you have attention to detail, that is a self-oriented skill. If you complete your work on time, if you meet deadlines within time, that is a self-oriented skill. Not many people can do that. People oriented skills are those type of skills that help you in excellent networking and relationship building. Trust me, every job will have people oriented skills, and some good examples of people oriented skills are negotiation skills, convincing skills, salesmanship. These are skills that you can demonstrate through your relationship with people around you. I will be talking about the interview, but before that, it's time for me to open the prepared speeches segment. And today's prepared speeches segment is a very special segment because we have 2 amazing speakers, 2 Karta Dharta, I believe, of Agnel Toastmasters Club, very eminent speakers. And it's time for me to welcome the speaker number 1. But before that, it's time for me to welcome the evaluator of speech number 1, who is Toastmaster Akshaya Krishnan, to state the project objectives. Over to you, Toastmaster Akshaya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. As John F. Kennedy once said, the only reason to give a speech is to change the world. So in line with this quote, I hope Toastmaster Sanish changes all of your world. He is going to endeavor to complete his level 1 C3, that is research and presenting on the pathway motivational strategy. His pathway objective is to, the purpose of this project is to is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized and well-researched speech on any topic. May the force be with you, Toastmaster. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Akshaya. I take great pride in welcoming him because he has a very quirky title. I'm sure you'll enjoy listening to this. Toastmaster Sanish Babu. The speech is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. The speech is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Toastmaster Sanish Babu.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, for putting the disclaimer out there. And I'm sure all the financial professionals or who invest in the stock market, they are already smiling because all of you must have heard this statement one time or the another while watching any of the television series, right? Can I see a hands up or smile? Yeah, I see Mahesh with both the hands. That is the reason Mahesh asked you when you had the FRM just on the beginning, because like they say, flocks of the same bird flock together and see each other. And as soon as you had FRMI, just knew, yeah, I see one more person, the financial professional out there. Now, we often get into social occasions, right? So let me ask you, like, who wants to make money? Can I see a raise of hands? Who wants to make some money? I see smiles. All right. Great to see. So that proves somewhere the topic is right and I'm in the right audience, like they say, like know your audience before you speak. Now, let me tell you an instance. This happens with me and might be some of you people, maybe Amrita, who is also involved in stock market, maybe Mahesh, like people who are involved may face, like whenever you go to social occasions or you meet new people, and the moment you share that you are also involved in stock market, suddenly the person says, do you have any tips? Can you share some tips, like which stock market is hot right now? Can I see a nod? Yeah, I see huge smiles from the people who did that. Often comes, right? It has happened with me. Maybe marriage functions, somebody's birthday parties, or any other social norm. Whenever the conversation goes to finance and stock market, the question is, which is the stock to invest right now? But before we get into that, I wanted that disclaimer out there. That's why I requested the team out to mention that particular disclaimer, because whatever I will be sharing today is to be strictly taken just from educational perspective, and the purpose is to create some kind of awareness, not to give any detailed take on what to buy or sell in the stock market. Now, before we get into the hardcore technical information, let me give you a little gist how people invest in the stock market. Now, I have been in the capital market for around 10 years, and I have been tracking the global market, the US and the European market. And that is why today I'll be taking an example of a US trucking company. I'll be briefly touching upon three parameters. First, the fundamentals of the company, the financial statements of the company. Second would be the economy of the US. And the third would be the industry per se. So, yes. Now, whenever we do any revenue computation for any company, one of the things we look out for is how we can project the revenue. And for any revenue, the basic formula is volume into the selling price per unit. But as we go into different sector, we have to identify the metrics relevant for each of the sector. And if we look for a trucking company, the metrics will be the average number of trucks and revenue per truck. Now, we'll be looking historically how the company did in terms of the revenue. Also, we will be looking into the future, how we can estimate that. And let's suppose some companies are not giving the number of trucks. Instead, they will give the loaded miles. For that, we have an alternate formula, that is revenue equal to loaded miles into revenue per loaded mile. Now, this is the financial snapshot of a trucking company in US called ODFL. And if we see the revenue from this operation, the reason I have selected this particular company is, as you can see on the chart, for the last 8 years, the revenue has constantly increased for this particular company. And in the trucking sector as it is, this company has a good reputation in terms of its management as well as its financial performance. Now, if you look at the left side chart, which shows expenses as a percentage of sales. Now, this is one of the things you would like to do when you are analyzing the financials of any company. Chart the expenses as a percentage of sales for a long period, maybe 1 year, 2 years. Over here, I've taken quarterly expenses and projected it. Now, if we look 2 years back, in third quarter of 20, the salaries, wages, and benefits that constitute around 50% of the total sales. And in the latest quarter, the results which came in June, it constituted only about 42%. The company registered a decline of 8%. And this is a very good factor if we look for this company. Now, if we look at other things, the company has seen a very significant increase in operating supplies and expenses. One of the major reasons is because of the fuel expenses. like the fuel expenses are increasing a lot. So whenever we see any of the numbers changing drastically, maybe up or down, we need to look into that, because every number has a story. So whenever we look at number, we should not just stop. Like it's a favorable direction, good. We need to further dig in and see why it is happening. If it's an unfavorable, all right, we need to see for how long it will be unfavorable. As mentioned, the operating supplies, it has increased because of the fuel expenses. That is predominantly because of the war in the Europe between Russia and Ukraine. And again, just a couple of days back, again, Russia has said that they are going to reduce the fuel which they are supplying to other European countries. Though US is not directly connected, this has an impact on overall fuel prices throughout the world. Now, coming to the second parameter, that is the economy. As mentioned in the formula, revenue is equal to volume into price. Now, if you look at the top hand side chart, this represents the volume of over the last 22 years from 2000 till 2022. Now, we saw a spike in 2019, and after that in 2020 and 2021, there has been a decline. And this decline is because of the pandemic. Trucking, like any other industry, has witnessed this decline. And in 2021 and beginning of 2022, there has been a spike. So this is a favorable news for this particular sector and this company. So any company, when we are analyzing, we have to look at the broad dynamics. So over here, I looked at the tonnage, that is the volume for trucking companies. And if you look in the percentage term also, below you can see there is a huge spike in June. So this is a leading indicator going forward also. So we can expect for the quarter ending September as well, the company will do better. Now that is the top line. Now coming to the operational expenses. Now what this company has done better compared to other companies in its sector is that though in general the employment expenses is increasing. Over the left side, you can see the chart, the payroll, employment, transportation, that is in red, and the total truck tonnage index. Both are increasing. But when we look at the salary of the company, what they are paying to the drivers, that has reduced. And it is possible because the company has entered into long-term contract with their clients and as well as fixed the wages for the drivers. So because of that, they were able to get economies of scale. And over here below, we can see that year over year also there has been an increase in the wages paid by the trucking companies to the employees. Still, this company is able to do better. So that shows how good the management is, even though the couple of macroeconomic indicators like wages are pushing the expenses, but still the company is able to handle it well. And finally, a snapshot. If you look at the operating income from two years back, that is in quarter 3 20 to now, it has improved from 26% to 31%. And almost 60% of that has translated into net income. That is from 19% to 23%. And if you look at the share price, it has increased by around 67%. That is from around $180 2 years back to $303 right now. So if we look, the company is doing an amazing job in terms of handling all its financials. It has got an amazing management. So these are the couple of things. Overall, I would just like to take two things. One thing would be, whenever you invest, do your own study. But if you're starting afresh, start with small amounts. Don't put a huge lump sum. Second thing is time and timing. Like you saw, over a span of 2 years, the stock price increased by around 67%. But that is time. We need to invest it over a long time. But again, timing is something we don't know, whether stock will actually be up or down. That is something we'll have to take a call. In between, there was a time when the stock price was more than 100%. So with that, I hope all of us do make the money. And over to you, Toastmaster of the week.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Anish. It looked like I was attending a lecture back in MBA. Thank you so much for that very enlightening speech. Now, moving ahead to the second speech. The second speech is by Can someone please verify? Hello.
You're audible, Aditya.
Okay, yes. Okay. For the second speech, I would like to invite the evaluator, Toastmaster Anand Ashok, to state the project objectives.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. Hope I am visible and audible. With your permission, I will continue. Distinguished Toastmaster Santosh is attempting his first speech from level 1, fourth speech from level 1 evaluation and feedback. Timer, please note the timing is 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you very much. Toastmaster Santosh. Mr. Rao is a good boy, yes or no? Mr. Rao is a good boy, yes or no? Toastmaster Santosh.
Could you please leave this place? I'm not interested. Please get lost. Oh, I already have a ton of credit cards. I don't want to take from you. 3 persons standing before me at the cash counter of a shopping mall trashed a salesman trying to sell credit cards. Toastmaster of the day and friends and I was furious because this salesman, the pest, can anytime attack on me. Back in my hometown, we call these salespeople the pests because they knock at your door and they would not leave you until you make a sale. If you would ask anyone, Santosh is not so good at trashing some people, then they are definitely not lying. My father knew all of this when I was 16 years old. Whenever I would have a fight with someone and come home, he would call me into the living room. Hey, Mr. Rao, that is how he calls me, Mr. Rao, come here. And he says, if I say Mr. Rao is a good boy, yes or no, can anybody say no? Now, with all the guilt of doing some mischievous things, I would always say the obvious answer. No. And then he screams, yes, Mr. Rao is not a good boy because Mr. Rao is a very good boy. With that confusion, I ask him, rather, I would think for myself, is this sarcasm or the positive reinforcement? But with this confidence and this push, I went on to humiliate my classmate, Rajesh. Rajesh is the captain of our school cricket team. And unfortunately, he is the captain of that team that would play against my team. After a fierce match, the ever-winning Rajesh's team lost. I go to him to do the trash talk. Hey, you, the winner turned the loser. What are you doing here? Get lost, because this kingdom belongs to me now. And Rajesh would never play cricket for the next 6 months. With this confidence of thumping chest, one day at school, I got a homework, and that too in my favorite subject of maths. Now, when you get this maths homework, you have two ways of solving it. One, you use your pen and paper, and number two, you use a calculator. So I slowly peeped into my father's room, grabbed that calculator, and started calculating. Logarithm of 8, logarithm of 15, logarithm of log, la la la, something. And in that process, I found that shining screen. When I rub on it, it gives me all those colors with Gayor. And then I stopped calculating and started playing. Colors, 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 colors all over. And after a few seconds, I find the calculator is only giving colors, not the calculations. So I swiftly put that calculator there and slowly went out of his room. The next morning, again, my father comes and calls me, Mr. Rao, where are you? Yes, I'm here. If I say that Mr. Rao is a good boy, can anybody say no? I said, no. I thought this time I'll receive a very good. But he said, Mr. Rao is not a good boy because he's a very good boy. And you are not going to repeat this again. I was expecting this, but what I got was this. And that day I confirmed that it is that positive affirmation and encouragement. I went back to Rajesh and I said, you are a great captain. You could play well. Thank you so much. It was indeed a proud moment for me to play a match with you. We all have Mr. Raos in our life. It could be you being the Rao of someone. It could be someone being your Mr. Rao. All those small people that work with us, all those big people that we work for, or all those subordinates or our colleagues that we are with. Give that positive affirmation and they will flourish. And this salesman, he came to me and I said in a very polite way, thank you so much for your offer, but you know what? I already have 2 credit cards. So please leave me for today. And this gentleman, unlike he would act as that pest when I try to dismiss him, this time he just left like that. So the next time you find someone and you have this question, Mr. Rao is a good boy, yes or no? The answer is no, because Mr. Rao is a very good boy. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Santosh, for that very energetic and impactful speech. Moving ahead, I request everyone to cast your feedback to the two legendary speakers so they improve and learn from your feedback. Let's have 1 minute for the feedback. Timer, please let me know when we are done. I guess we are all done with the feedback. Now I request timer of today's meeting to present the report for the two prepared speeches.
We have the poll of speaker to actually speaker to poll.
Okay, let's initiate the poll for speaker two, Toastmaster Santosh as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yes,
Now
yeah.
I
And
request timer to present the report for the two prepared speeches.
Thank you, Toastmasters of the day. So actually, this is the first time I am officially speaking in front of Toastmasters, and by taking up this role and starting my journey to thrive in public speaking. And I guess everyone in here joining Toastmasters Club, starting their journey with this kind of role, so then they don't feel like biting off more than they can chew. So with that said, let me share the time taken by speakers. So speaker one took the time 10 minutes and 6 seconds, and speaker two took the time 7 minutes and 24 seconds. So speaker two is qualified for the award. Thank you.
Thank you very much, timer. Now moving ahead with the theme, cracking interviews. Now let's actually talk about interviews. I want you to tell me what are those usual questions that you encounter in an interview, the common questions that you encounter. Anyone? Unmute yourself and tell me.
What are your strengths and weaknesses?
Yes, what are your strengths and weaknesses? As if they are really bothered. Anyone else? Any other common questions, the cliched questions in interviews?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yes, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Any other question?
Tell me about yourself.
Yes, that was what I wanted to listen. Tell me about yourself. And this is again a make it or a break it question in any interview because it sets the pace and tone for the interview. You ace this one particular question, and I assure you, you are half done in an interview. So, how do you tell about yourself? How do you weave a story so convincingly that you cover your skills, your experience, as well as your fit? So, you talk about your college, you talk about your degree, you talk about your achievements, you talk about your values, and lastly, you talk about why are you here for the job. Keynote: in case anyone asks you, tell me about yourself. So, what do you think? How much time you should take to answer this question?
2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Any other guess? Any other guess?
I think up to a minute only.
Very close. Let me tell you, limit your remarks to a maximum of 90 seconds, 1.5 minutes. Nothing more and nothing less. Because you might end up boring the interviewer, because the interviewer is not here to know you. He or she is just here to identify whether you possess the right skills for the job. So limit your remarks to 90 seconds only. Second, whenever you are asked a question, make sure you always give evidences. You give instances and examples to sound more convincing. For example, when someone asks you what are your strengths and weaknesses, you list your strengths. Accordingly, you also give examples where you have demonstrated these strengths in personal and professional front. So how do you give examples? Let me be even more specific to you. You use the STAR approach to give any answer in an interview with examples. And the STAR is situation, target, action, and result. Situation, target, action, and results. So how do you apply this? Say someone asks you, how are you a good leader? When did you demonstrate leadership capabilities? So you tell the situation where there was a void for a right leadership. And then you talk about the target. What was your aim? What was your objective to use your leadership skills? Action. How did you use your leadership skills? What were the activities? What were the actions taken to implement leadership in this situation? And finally, how did the result come out? What was the change that you created? How did you challenge status quo using your leadership? STAR, situation, target, action, and result. I'm sure with the right confidence, with the right attitude, using the STAR approach, you can answer any question with prowess. And next comes the even more integral part of an interview, but a lot of us disregard this aspect, and that is negotiation. Before we talk about negotiation and evaluating the offer that you get, it's time for me to open up the moments of truth. Today's moments of truth will be facilitated by a very energetic Toastmaster Mahesh Puranam. Over to you.
Thank you, Aditya. Am I audible and visible? Oh, thank you so much. Yes, it's good to be back in Agnel's, because Agnel's was the first Toastmaster club I ever attended a meeting, and Agnel's Toastmaster Club was also a mentor for my home club, RIL Toastmasters Club. And it feels so nice to come back. Thank you so much for having me here and giving me the opportunity to be part of the meeting. We are here to conduct moments of truth. I'm sure you've heard of this before. Let's have a quick response on what do we know about moments of truth. Toastmaster Abhay, would you like to comment on what is moments of truth?
Oh, so no, like I would like to listen to it. Like I would like to note down.
Okay. Okay. Let's ask Jamie. Jamie, would you know what is moments of truth?
Yeah, so we capture the reality of how a club is functioning, and is it meeting the expectations that is set.
Okay. And Jerome, would you like to comment? What is moments of truth?
Something similar to what Jamie said, to understand, like a feedback session.
Absolutely. And all of you are right. It's basically even what Abhay said. Listen. The XCOM wants to listen to what you have to say about how the club is functioning. And the feedback that you're going to give today, it is going to be used by the executive committee and the other team members of Agnel's Toastmasters to take step towards improvements. There's always a scope for improvement. Yes, Agnel's is a thriving club. It does great work. But we, as members and guests, have to help them identify exactly what needs to be done to make it even better. So what Toastmasters has given us in Moments of Truth is 6 aspects. Let me quickly share the screen. I'm trying to do a kind of jugglery here. I wanted to see all of the faces on the screen. So I am planning to project the screen from my phone so that I get the best of both the worlds. I can see you and also I'm able to present whatever I'd like to do. Okay, so okay, so the Moments of Truth is actually a team building event where we come together as a team and give feedback on 6 aspects. First is the first impressions. What somebody would carry as an impression when they come for the first time to the club. Second is the membership orientation. A new member who comes into the club, what is the experience we are giving that person? Third is the fellowship, variety, and communication that we are having within the club. Fourth is the program planning and meeting organization. How are the meetings organized? How are things done before the meeting? Is the planning good enough? Fifth is the membership strength. Sixth is the achievement recognition. So these aspects are going to be drilled down into further, like for example, the substandards that are there for first impressions are, when a guest comes in, is he or she greeted warmly and introduced to the officers and members? Now for each of these aspects, what is expected for us to do is to rate, give them a rating on 1 to 5. And the rating standard is also given below. If we meet the standard always, then please give a 5.
But did you ask specifically about that? Does it have to be? Should read it. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I request everyone to put yourself on mic unless you want to contribute here? Yes. Okay. Thank you. So the aspect that I would request all of you to do is
we need
to think about
record it.
Each of these substandards and rate from 1 to 5. If this is an aspect that we continuously do every time without missing it, then we give a 5 because we always meet that standard. And we give a 1 when we never meet the standard. And in between from 1 to 5, we can say if we rarely meet the standard, we can give a 2. If we sometimes meet the standard on an average, it's 3. But we usually meet it, sometimes we miss it, it's 4. So 1 to 5. For each of the standards that we see, please fill 1 to 5. And the same thing goes for the other ones, like membership orientation. You know what comes under membership orientation? So new member who comes into the club, how is the experience for them? So a formal introduction happens with presentation of a pin. We assign a mentor for the new member. Do we assess the learning needs of the new member? Speaking roles, are they assigned to the member, or the speaker has the new member has to wait in a long queue? So these are the aspects that are there for a new member or a membership oriented. Similarly, in fellowship, variety, and communication, how are the meetings organized? Are they bubbly? Are they enjoyable? And the educational meetings are they looking like they are planned, or they just seem to happen without much planning? Whether intercup events are encouraged, whether members participate in area, division, international events. So these are different aspects of fellowship, variety, and communication. Now, when I was skipping through these slides, you also noticed one other slide where it kind of is blank, but it has two particular sections. So for all the challenges that the club is facing, which is identified here, I would say it's a challenge when you have the rating of 3 or lesser. If any particular standard is getting 3 or less, then let's call it as a challenge, and then identify what is the cause for the challenge here. And we try to list it down on the left-hand side. What is the cause for that challenge? And on the right-hand side, we try to write what could be the possible solution for it. What can be done to improve that challenge or to come out of that situation? Perhaps who can be responsible for that can also be added here. So this is what the moments of truth will look like. And what I would request is we split ourselves into 6 groups. And in these 6 groups, we'll have 6 rooms, and we have identified the team coordinators or team leaders for each of these groups. When we split ourselves into these groups, we discuss about that particular aspect that is given to us. Like, for example, Shobit will be in the team which is discussing about fellowship, variety, and communication. And what is expected is, when we go to this fellowship, variety, and communication. Yeah. So there are 6 substandards in fellowship, variety, and communication. For each of these, I would request the team to discuss what rating should go into this. And the rating should be either a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. No 1.5s, no 3.5s, no 3.23, no numbers like that. Integers from 1 to 5. If there is a disagreement or there are multiple ratings that are coming up, I would request you to discuss and come up with one particular number. And for every number which is a 3 or lesser, I would request to go to the next slide and fill in what are the causes for that challenge. What is the cause for the standard to be scored at 3? And what can be done for next time to be scored higher? So what is the particular action you suggest, and a particular person who can be responsible for that action can be given on the right side. So how we have organized this is our Sergeant at Arms and the Zoom Master, Mr. Toastmaster Praveen, will be giving out a link of Google Slides, and that will be in the chat box. I would request all the team leaders to use that slide, that Google slide, and start filling these numbers, the rating that we give for each of the standards as the discussion happens. So you can even share, display your screen within your team discussion and continue the discussions on the line. And then after this particular slide is finished, please go on to the next one and complete both the sides of this slide. At this point of time, I would like to know if there are any questions. If you have, please unmute and let's talk about the things in your mind.
Yeah, Mahesh, how much time we will get in the breakout room to discuss each point?
Okay, so I would hope that since we are already running short of time, normally we take about 10 minutes. So if you can do it earlier than that, it would be great. So 10 minutes, you can say.
Okay.
Yeah, and one other thing I missed out is that after the discussion, I would request one person within the team to come out and share the gist of the discussion. So while you're discussing, you also please nominate the person who is going to represent. It need not be the team leader. It could be anyone from the group. Are there any more questions? Okay, otherwise I have one question for you guys. So if you talk about first impressions, it is like the performance of the club, right? You are trying to assess the performance of the club. So Agnel has been there for 10 years or even more, I think, 14 years, forgive my ignorance, but at least it's there for 10 years, I know. So should we rate it for the entire 10 years? Are we doing an assessment for since the inception of Agnel's club? What time period should we take it?
First impression is the time that you first came in contact with Agnel. Your first.
Yeah, so when I came first into Agnel's Toastmasters, it was 7 years ago, and I got a fabulous response. I was introduced to the club. I was greeted by the club officers. I would give 5 for all of that. But the team that is going to do today should rate it for the last 6 months or so. Not for 7 years. Not for when Mahesh Puranam came 7 years ago, no. It's about the recent past. It's about from the last two halves of the year. So for the last 1 year or 6 months, what has been our performance that we would like to capture so that we can take that forward if there are any changes to be done in the future. Any other questions? Any comments?
Yeah, Toastmaster Mahesh, a follow-up question on this topic only. I had the impression that probably this moment of truth is conducted periodically. So the assessment should be done for this session only, which is started from July onwards. However, do you know about any particular guideline from TI on this? It's a pertinent question that you raised. So thank you for that.
Yeah. In fact, I don't have any solid response for this, but the intent of Moments of Truth is to see how we are doing in the recent past and how we can take it forward in the future. So I really don't have a very solid answer for you.
No worries. Thank you. We'll take immediate.
May I just add something here?
I forgot that we have a better people who can answer these questions. Yes, please go ahead, Vinay.
So we have to just, because this is about the current status and how we can take the club from the current status to the to a better place. So we rate only about the current thing. So as Mahesh said, at the most last 6 months. So last 6 months for maybe first impression, membership orientation, what is happening, or say achievement recognition. But for the program planning and all those things. So there's nothing specific, but yes, you want to improve the current scenario. So that's what you will be rating for.
Thank you, Vinay, for the nice articulation. Okay, so our Zoom master, Praveen, are you ready with the split of the teams into the groups?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Already.
Yeah. So we'll also be communicating with the groups over broadcast messages. So let us keep ourselves on time. And I hope all the team leaders are able to access the Google slide that is put on the chat box. In case anybody is not, could you please quickly confirm it to Praveen so that we can sort that out?
That link was shared to the team leaders earlier as well. So they have
great.
the links.
Okay, great. Okay. Awesome. So now the time is 6:15 or so. So we will come back at 6:25. And then we will have 2-3 minutes for each of the groups to share their summary, and we should able to be end by 6:40 or so, 6:45.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Praveen, let's do this.
Yeah. Okay.
Sagar says he cannot access the link.
No, he's
Sagar,
not.
Sagar, you need not access the link. That the team leaders will access the link.
Oh, okay.
Praveen, are you done assigning?
I am, yes.
Yeah. So Nikesh and Parith.
So they have not yet accepted the.
Acha, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So Praveen, could you transfer me to room number 1, please?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I have. Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, Praveen. So could you please put me to room number 2, please?
Right. I have this. Hey.
Yes, Pravinji. I think room 5 and 6 were very clear. They were done with things. They were just having discussions around it.
Okay.
So we can share the joining link to all of them to be back in the room. All rooms. Yeah.
Everyone okay. Yes, I have informed them. Now I'll just close the rooms now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they have started to come back.
Right. Yeah. Rooms.
Amrita will be presenting for group 5.
Yeah.
So in the interest of time, Santosh, can I request you to share the screen and Amrita gear up to start presenting, please, for team number 5. Jamie from team number 1, who's going to present?
Mitali.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Hi, Mahesh. From team number 3, Chetan is going to present. Shobit here.
Yeah, thanks, Shobit.
From team number 4, I'll be presenting.
Okay, Anand. Team number 2 and 6, could you please?
Team number 6, Parita is presenting.
Parita, okay. Team number 2. Okay, I think Mithali was the first to be back in the room, so we should honor her with the first to go. Mithali, when you're ready, please. Jamie, may I request you to share the screen, please? I do not have the link ready with me. May I request you to share the slides, Google Slides?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Mithali, whenever you're ready, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Good evening everyone. And my name is Mitali Sahu. And I'm going to present about the first impressions. So my first point is the guest greeted warmly and introduced up to official. So I will give rating the 5 because in last time they greeted me very well. And my second point is guest book and name, tax provided, online attendance, names recorded. They didn't provide in that times. And my third point is professionally arranged meeting rooms or online meeting. They arranged very well, and I will give it rating 5 because they arranged very well in offlines as well as online. And my fourth point is convenient meeting locations and online platforms. They arranged very well in convenient meeting locations as well as online platforms. So I will give it rating 5. And
guests invited to address to the clubs. So in last time they helped me because I'm new in Mumbai. So they helped me how to reach in Vashi locations. So I will give to this rating 5. And guest invited to join during the meeting and applies. So I will also give the 5 ratings. And overall, I will give overall is very well impressions of mine, and I will give rating the 5 out of 5 to Hashi clubs. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, please talk about the second slide as well.
Okay. So the first point is start the guest book in physical setting. So yeah, they said the physical guest book. And second point is screenshot of guest members helpful to track the members and guest attendance and participations. Yes, they track as well. And third point is secretary or SSA can take the responsibility in physical and Zoom meeting in the online. Yeah, they take care of it. So I will give it the 5 out of 5 rating because they take care all of these things, and they help people, and they help how people talk each others, and they are very friendly people who can help each other. So I will give a rating 5 out of 5, and thanks to everyone in Vashi clubs. So yeah, thank you so much.
Well done, Vitali, well done. Good. For a very crisp report, thank you so much. Summarizing what happened in the last 10-15 minutes is not easy. Thank you so much, Vitali. Now, can we go to team 2? Who's presenting from team 2?
Me, I'm presenting, but can someone share the slide?
Yeah, I'll have to request somebody else to do that. Jamie, could you please help me out here? Yeah.
Yeah. So I will be talking about the membership orientation. So after our discussion as a group, we have come to this consensus. For the formal induction, we have given a rating of 5, a rating of 4. So our recommendation to help this along would be a little more detailed induction into the various pathways, what exactly we can do within Toastmasters, what we can learn, what we can expect out of it. So this can be done as a part of the formal induction as well. In terms of assignment of mentor, it is all around the entire team piece that we are doing very well. So it is a rating of 5. When it comes to education programs and recognition of the recognition system discussed, we've given a rating of 4. Another way to improve this rating to a 5 would be a detailed explanation for all the pathways during or after the meeting by the mentor or the VP of education. So that will give us a little more and better understanding of what we should pick and what would be the best pathway that we can choose initially, and then go ahead with the next one. Next would be the learning needs to be assessed. This part we've given 4 because we need the mentors and the VP of education and other mentors as well, who we find as mentors, to understand what exactly newcomers want, what they're looking for, and how which education program will give them the best results that they're looking for in terms of communication. The last 3 are recommendations, accommodations for members with disabilities. Since we don't have any members who are disabled, we have given an NA to this because it's not applicable. Speaking roles assigned are given 4, wherein this will be mainly because it will be depending on the mentor as well as the mentee, wherein the mentor should be able to give explanations of what kind of roles can be taken up in meetings, so that the mentee can understand and say volunteer themselves more often. So that can be done either by talking to the mentor or the VP of education. So either one to do. And the last one is members involved in all aspects of club activities. We have given this a rating of 5 because it is being done currently and will continue to be done in the future. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Akshata. Thank you. Yeah, this particular point of accommodation of members or accommodating members with disabilities. See, first aspect is disabilities can be of different ways. It need not be only physical disability. And second one is that nowadays every building, if you see, they are being given ratings of on the basis of whether they are accommodating people with disabilities to come in and go out of the building and move around inside the building on their own. So to transcend ourselves to a higher level, I would request the ExCom to consider this as one of the points in your next ExCom meeting discussions, to see how things can be modified so that even persons with disabilities they feel welcome into the club. Though it is automatically happening, but I would request you to consider and put special attention and focus on welcoming those newer prospective members. So with this, I actually should have started with congratulating Akshaya for again giving up a very good, crisp report. Thank you so much, and great job done by team 2 as well. Well done. Now, Jamie, could you please go on to the next slides, and I request Chetan to come up and give us the gist of your discussions.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi. Good evening, all. First of all, my name is Chetan, and I'm really great to. I get the opportunity to share my views on this as a group, as a team. So, on the guest, greeted warmly and made welcome. So, we in a team discuss, and we have decided we will give 4. On enjoyable and educational meeting plan, we are giving 4. On regularly scheduled social event or similar, we are again discussed and decided that we will go with 4. Member participate in areas, district, and international events. So even I joined for last 6 months in this Agnel Toastmaster, and even I participated in different district. I know this, and even my other team members are knowing this. So we decided we will go with 4. For inter-club event encouraged, again with 4. Club MOM minutes of meeting newsletter website published and updated regularly. We are going with 2. Reason for that, can you change the slide, please? Yeah, so the reason for that is the website is not being updated on regular basis. What we can do to address it is so the VP PR needs to update the website with upcoming events and past events, and he should be having one backup person. So if whenever the VP PR is busy, so when he was busy, so some other person will take care of the work, and the website should be correctly updated in various social media like Facebook. I mean, as we were discussing, Facebook and Insta, and rest. Otherwise, rest all are okay. So this is it from my. Thank you.
Thank you, Chetan. Thank you for again 3 in a row, very crisp reports. Thank you so much, Chetan. And well done, team 3, for coming up with the nice points and crisp reply for the standards. Jamie, please advance to the next one, and I request Anand to come up for team 4's representation.
Can I share my screen?
Oh, you can. You can. It's the same anyway. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's the same anyway. It doesn't matter. So please go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. My bad. In our group, when we discussed, there were no points below 4, except for the meetings that do not end on time. For that, we got a 4. So rest everything are 5, but still we deliberate on some more points which we can improve upon. Can we move to the next slide, please? So we started with the evaluations. So evaluations are sometimes we have observed as sugar-coated and may not provide genuine feedback. So that can be improved by doing 2 things: by giving critical evaluations. And how to do critical evaluations? Either the mentors can give them offline along with the evaluator for the speech improvement. So the responsibility lies with the mentors. And second is more education sessions for critical evaluations. And also, as a club can have more evaluators, so that with the help of the education sessions, we can help more members becoming evaluators. So that's again by the role of the VP education. Next point is the meetings that do not always end on time. So better time management can be done by the VP education and the presiding officer during the conduction of the meeting. So especially preparing the agenda and during the meeting. Second is when the role players are completing their roles. If they are not, a nudge by the timer or the Toastmaster of the day so that the meeting ends on time, or some curtailment on the roles can. And finally, the program details. Yes, we get to know about the program details in advance, but agenda in advance, but program details for the taking up the roles. So if a calendar can be shared with for better planning and role allocation, that will help. So that activity can be taken up by the secretary or the VP education. So these are some points which we discussed in our group among the other points for improvement. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Mahesh.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you again for a crisp report. Thank you so much. Well done, Team 4, for noting down the points in spite of rating higher. This is good that you're able to come up with opportunities of improvement to make all the 4s into 5s also. Great, good done. Well done. Okay, now let me request Amrita to please come up and share what you have discussed for Team 5.
Yes, I'm going to share below 5. So members are retained and Toastmasters sponsoring new members recognized. So kindly share second screen, next screen. First challenge we face is members are retained because club is in transition mode, mainly online to offline. So we suggest for that more personalized attention from the mentors and more hybrid meeting. Second is Toastmasters sponsoring new members recognized. So for that, can recognize members sponsor in social media, plus something like each one get one.
Okay, nice suggestions, Amrita. Would you like to talk about the other ones also?
Other ones are like 4 or 5 only. So.
Okay. Thank you, Amrita, for cutting down the time for presenting what you had and giving extremely very concentrated gist of what you had discussed. Thank you. And next we have Parita. Could you please help us with Team 6? Oh, what happened?
Very good evening, one and all. So coming to the point.
I had updated in the sheets. I don't know how it might not have been saved. Parita, you can just
Okay, I'll just
free flow. Just please share that sheet so that she can look at and she will share the individual points that we have discussed.
Yeah, can
please
I
share
have
the relevant sheet. No, above. Yes.
Thank you so much. Awards application immediately submitted to the world headquarters. I'm sure we all have got this recognition once we finish our levels, as soon as at least our team was having complete support with the statement. Moving on to the progress chart display discussed to the members and maintained. Here we had mixed review, as there were few new members who really felt that the progress chart should not be discussed in the meetings. Rather, it should be between the mentor and the mentee. And if the levels are explained well or progress is as per what the member is wishing for or aiming for, then that is fine. So that's where we have rated that point as 4. Moving ahead to the next one, members' achievements formally recognized. Yes, definitely. They are formally very well recognized with all the meetings, not only with the meetings, but the WhatsApp group, Facebook, and other media. Club district international readers recognized. Yes, we are definitely very well recognized over there too. Club and membership achievements publicized. Yes, over social medias we see the publication publicized and recognized over that end also. So we've rated that 5. DCP is used for planning and recognition. 23 awards won in the district well depicts that DCP is used for planning and recognition. With that, I'm really delighted to give this report. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Parita. Thank you so much. This is what Aditya was talking about. State your proposition and also provide the numbers to the examples to justify your thing. Very nice.
Thank you.
Well done. Nice your presentation. Thank you all the team members for contributing your wonderful thoughts and collating them into actionable items. Thank you so much. And I'm sure the Executive Committee of Agnel Toastmasters Club will take all these points into due consideration and use them effectively to make the club grow even to higher standards. Thank you so much. And from now, I sign off and hand it over back to Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mahesh, for facilitating that very engaging moments of truth. Now, coming back to the theme, we have reached the end of the theme. So your profile got shortlisted. You have given the interview and aced it. The company and the hirer likes you. Now it's time for the big deal, negotiation. Let me tell you, more than 60% of candidates, they don't negotiate. They think that if they negotiate, ask for a higher raise, then probably their offer will be rescinded. I can guarantee you this doesn't happen in many of these instances. It is mainly because when you negotiate, the HR person, the manager, identifies your negotiation skills, your communication skills to get work done. So why not? Why not create value and have extra pennies in your pocket by negotiating effectively? So how do you negotiate? You have to keep two things in mind while negotiating. Number one, your capabilities and expertise. Number two, your expectations of the salary from the company. Your capabilities and expertise comes from your qualifications, your achievements, your industrial experience, how you are bringing value to the table, how you are bringing something new and significant to the company that the company will make use of. Second is the expectations. What do you think the ballpark for the CTC in the company is? And for this, you'll have to do very intensive market research. Talk to people on LinkedIn, identify job descriptions on various websites, do a good research on Indigo or Glassdoor or Fishbowl to identify what can be the appropriate ballpark, what can be the budget for that particular role, so that the HR manager doesn't lowball you. And every time you negotiate, stay calm, give logic, give examples why you deserve this raise, what all you have achieved, and what are your expectations from the offer. Finally, keep one thing in mind. Not only the CTC, but anything and everything is negotiable. You can not only negotiate your fixed pay and variable pay, you can also go ahead, propose, ask for a raise in your joining bonus, retention bonus, your date of joining, a better title for your role to boost your resume, pay leaves, maternity leaves, a work from home situation, or reimbursements, tax reimbursements, insurance, PF, and so on and so forth. Make sure you negotiate all offer in hand. I wish you best of luck for your next interview if it may or may not happen. Please reach out to me if you need any guidance or any help in preparation for interviews. On that note, I would like to end my TMOD remarks and pass on the charge to the general evaluator for Breakfast of Champions. Today's general evaluator is DTM Vinay Srivastav. Over to you, DTM Vinay.
Thank you, TMOD Toastmaster of the Day, Aditya. Yes, iceberg. I remember iceberg whatever you were saying, because in iceberg you just see the tip and there's so much below the water. So what we negotiate sometimes is what we see, and we forget to negotiate what is below the water. And similarly, the evaluation session, we see few things, but after we go through this evaluation session, we realize that we had just seen the tip of the iceberg. And at the end of the evaluation session, you will see what all was underwater. Now, to facilitate the evaluation session, the first speaker was Toastmaster Sanish. And to evaluate his speech, may I invite Toastmaster Akshay Krishnan to come. Before that, I would request the timer to quickly share the timing guidelines for the evaluators. Please share the timing guidelines for this session.
Yes, so for the evaluators, the time cap is between 2 to 3 minutes.
Thank
So at
you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Toastmaster Nikunj. So 2 to 3 minutes, 3:30 max. Toastmaster Akshay for the evaluation of speech number 1 by Toastmaster Sanish.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I would like to congratulate my speaker by that he thrived so much when he was speaking so well. So he had a very strong knowledge base about what he was talking about. Toastmaster Sanish, I like the energy that you brought into the speech and the smiling attitude you had from the very start. You started off with a great anecdote of what happens when a person from a finance background who is working in the stock market goes to a gathering and people ask you for tips. I know I go through the same thing because both my parents are finance professionals, so they go through the same thing every time they go anywhere. So I do understand that issue that always comes up. There are a few things I would have, I think you could improve on, and that would be one is to, in your PPT, you had shown the revenue for computation. So you could have given a small one-line description of what it was to introduce exactly what they were calculating, because when you do that, it gives the person who's looking at the PPT a little more understanding of what they are looking at, because the only thing we could see was graph. So that would be a little bit of text would have helped it along. And when you came to explaining economies of scale, that also would have helped if you give a one-line sentence of what economies of scale were. And like I said, text would have helped because it would have reduced your speaking ability, because people would read a few words and they would understand. And also, I would say that there were too many graphs. Every slide had at least 2 graphs. So if you put one graph and one line of text would have definitely helped the people understand, because not everyone here is coming from an MBA background or a finance background. So those who are still learning, understanding, it would have been easier for them. Aside from this, I have no other recommendation. All I can say is it was a very good speech, and it didn't look like you had bitten off more than you could chew. It was the perfect bite size for you. So very well done. Good luck for the next speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshay. What a structural evaluation. What a poetic evaluation. I always remember the poems of Toastmaster Akshay whenever she speaks. We had 2 speakers. Both the speakers were by the name of S, Sanish and Santosh. And we have 2 evaluators by the name of A, Akshay. And the second evaluator is AA. And may I invite Toastmaster Anand Ashok for the evaluation of the speech of Toastmaster Santosh Akela.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Hope I am audible and visible again. Thank you. Is Santosh a good boy or no? He compelled me to say he is a very good boy. Well, is this a sarcasm or positive reinforcement? Let's find out. Distinguished Toastmaster Craig Valentine, in his 1991 World Championship speech, recommended a callback in his speech as it enhances the recall value of the speech. And even though there were 3 stories in DTM Santosh's speech, there was a strong callback, as well as he used repetition to emphasize the key sentence, that is he a very good boy? Is he a good boy? But no, he's a very good boy. So that increases the recall value. Thank you, Santosh, for doing that. Second commendation, magic happens when there is a well-timed pause. And in your speeches, the pauses made the delivery much more effective. Whenever you mentioned, is he a very good boy or no? And then you use the pause. When you use winner turned loser, thumping chest, and then there was a pause. It made so the speakers, so the listeners could sink into the message. So that was again good. As you're someone who never says no to feedback, here are my few recommendations on the speech. After you explained the importance of positive reinforcement, you went on to, by the example of Rajesh, you went on to give the second example where you extended that same message. And for the salesman, now it's all about credibility of how you are applied. You said it worked well. Probably if you could have enacted that entire scene or given much more time to that, probably it could have been made better over there to improve the credibility, because we all know salesmen, credit card salesmen, especially if we say, okay, we do not want your credit card, probably next time I already have to, maybe they won't listen to it. So probably that is something you can work upon. Second is, how can a team or a person thrive when there is positive reinforcement? If you could have added that as well, elementary thing, because it was just about, okay, positive reinforcement works, but how does it work? What are the benefits, or how does a person or a team benefit by using a positive reinforcement? It could have emphasized the importance of positive reinforcement as compared to sarcasm. So overall, I'm not sure whether I am a good boy or no, but yes, thank you, Santosh, for telling me and giving the audience the important message of positive reinforcement. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Anand, for that smashing evaluation. Santosh was forced to write smash on his t-shirt because you gave such a smashing evaluation. For the knowledge of everybody, I am the SA for this term, but we have a permanent SA in Agnel Toastmasters Club, a lifetime SA, which is Sir Anand Ashok, SAA. And this SA is wonderful. He is a leader at the district level also. So I thank our permanent SA, Sir Anand Ashok, for his evaluation. Next, let us go for the timers report. May I request the Zoom master to spotlight Toastmaster Nikunj for his timing report.
So evaluator 1 took 1 minute 55 seconds for evaluation, and Toastmaster Anand, evaluator 2, has took 3 minutes 2 seconds. So Toastmaster Anand is qualified for the award.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nikunj. Now we come to the most dreaded evaluation, or the dreaded role, AHA counter report, which will give us the report of all the ahs and ums that we have said during the meeting. Over to you, the AD of this Agnel Toastmasters group, Amrita Deshmukh.
So first, speaker 1, Sanish, he used and 2 times, but 2 times, and so 3 times. Speaker 2, toaster.
Amrita, I cannot hear you. Is it Amrita or I cannot hear?
Yeah, I think Murphy is stuck.
Vinay, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, Amrita, continue. We were not able to hear. Now
Vinay,
we can.
sorry, Vinay, I need to interrupt you here. I was also supposed to give an evaluation for Akshay, evaluating the evaluator. We missed out on that.
Okay. I'll just let this report complete.
So, can you hear me right now?
Yes, please go ahead.
For speaker 1, Toastmaster Sanish, he used and 2 times, but 2 times, and so 3 times. Speaker 2, Toastmaster Santosh, take a long pauses almost 8 times and short pauses 2 times. So.
Okay. Thank you so much, AD Amrita Deshmukh. Now we come to I'll come to Libby before. Let me complete the third report of the tag team, that is the grammarian report. May I invite Toastmaster Ishika to share her report as a grammarian.
Thank you, everyone. And I didn't find any wrong usage of grammar, but a big shout out for those who actually used the word of the day and phrase of the day. It's Timon Nikunj who actually used both of them. Anand, Akshaya, Toastmaster Anand, Toastmaster Akshaya, and has also used word of the day and phrase of the day. So a big shout out for them as well. I have pointed out a few words which are actually very good, like present, and uses words like positive affirmation, positive reinforcement, and a big shout out for them as well. So this is my report as a grammarian. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ishika. I think Libby said something, or somebody said something. I was also supposed, but I'm not seeing anything in the agenda. Somebody had interrupted me by saying that I was also supposed to give a report.
Yes, Vinay, that was me, Libby.
Libby, but there's nothing in the agenda. So I would request you to contact the secretary, and this time, or you can give the evaluation offline or after the session. I have to maintain the timing for the session. So I would proceed to the, I would request Toastmaster Praveen to share the poll. Is it good? As per the agenda, it should be done now. Toastmaster Praveen, are you ready? Are you sharing the report? Are you sharing the polls? Toastmaster Praveen? Yes. Toastmaster Praveen, please let me know when the voting is complete and I can go ahead with the balance session. Toastmaster Praveen?
So.
Okay. Any other polls? Toastmaster Praveen?
We have the
Best
best
role?
role. Yeah.
Can we do it now?
Right. Okay.
Let us complete the polls. I think Aditya has completed his session because I heard he had signed off his session and thereafter he had passed the baton to me. I'm not sure, Aditya, if you have something to say, then I will again hand over after my session. Okay. Praveen, are you launching the poll?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I have.
Let me know whenever that is done.
Right. Yeah, okay. And we have one more left.
Please go ahead.
Yes, all done. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Praveen. You must have seen that the iceberg example that I had given, whatever you saw was just a tip of the iceberg, and the various inputs which have been shared by the tag team and various inputs which have been shared by the evaluators, they are definitely not visible. They are below the water, but then definitely they are very, very useful. So kudos to all the role players who have shared their reports and reviews. Regarding my comments, my reviews, more or less everything is fine. I would not go in detailing and find fine details. Just that because there was some technical glitch, the Toastmaster of the day, he came late to the meeting. I think 2 minutes late. That is fine. That's not an issue because he covered it up beautifully during his session. That was a wonderful session by him. All the role players, everybody played a very good role. Everybody thrived in their role, in their respective roles. Just one thing which I wanted to say, which is not specific to this particular meeting, but normally we say Toastmasters Vinay or Toastmasters Sanish. It is always Toastmaster. It is not Toastmasters. So we also refer somebody like TM Vinay or TM Sanish. So when we say, we should always say Toastmaster. We should not say Toastmasters. Okay, that is one thing. However, when we write, we have to write as TM. However, when we are writing, if somebody is a DTM, say for example Santosh Akela, so we write Santosh Akela, comma DTM. So that's the difference between writing and speaking. Don't say TM, don't say Toastmasters, say Toastmaster Santosh or DTM Santosh DTM. That's how it is. That's the protocol. That's how it is said in a Toastmaster meeting. I think that's it from my side. I would hand over the screen spotlight to Toastmaster Libby. Toastmaster Libby, I know I did not let you speak for the evaluation of Akshay, but during your final comments as a presiding officer, you may like to incorporate that in your session, and you may go ahead. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM Vinay. Distinguished Toastmaster Vinay. So first and foremost, let us have the award ceremony. Zoom Master, are the certificates ready? Praveen?
Yeah. Okay, it's ready.
Okay. Can you share the screen?
Yeah, I will, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead. For the best speaker, we have distinguished Toastmaster Santosh. Can we spotlight Santosh?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 1 minute, please.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, Santosh.
Yeah, okay.
I am here.
Yeah.
Okay. This is for you, Santosh, for that wonderful speech. And you definitely are a good boy. I think I can agree with Anand on that. For our next award, the best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Anand. There you go, Anand. You're a good boy too.
Yeah.
The next one, the best role players from among the big three, it goes to Toastmaster Aditya. Toastmaster Aditya, thank you for spending your time with us and taking us through a wonderful session on how to give interviews. I was definitely taking notes and I hope I crack my next interview.
Yeah, he's left, I think.
Oh, he's not there. No problem. Supporting role player?
Yeah, I have it. Nothing is wrong.
I think I don't even know what to call it. It's a tie
Yeah,
between all three of our tag team. I think all of you've got equal votes. So kudos to all of you. Awesome. And Ishika and Nikunj are taking up the roles for the first time. So really great job, guys. Amrita, you've become a pro at taking up roles now.
Yes.
Amrita?
Yeah.
Is it a triple tie?
Yes. Yeah. This was my third time.
Superb, Amrita. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Toastmaster Mahesh for spending his valuable time with us, explaining about MOT to us. You actually brought in a lot of points which we hadn't even thought about. And you went individually to each room to give us suggestions and point of views of how to conduct the whole thing, and spending 2.5 hours out of your busy schedule is no mean task. That's why you probably thrive as a Toastmaster. And thank you so much, Toastmaster Mahesh.
It was a pleasure, Libby, but I think you're giving too much credit to me. It was an excellent job done by everybody, because everybody contributed to the same objective of what we are here for. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being part of the meeting.
Thank you. I would now like to thank all my guests and all the members who attend the meeting, had the patience to we have overshot our time, obviously. Thank you for patiently waiting and sitting through the entire meeting. With respect to what Vinay said, the evaluation for Akshay, I think I will give it to you offline. I think most of them are in the mood to move out. So giving an evaluation at this point wouldn't be too much, but kudos to you. This was your first attempt as an evaluator. So you have, I can confidently say you have not bitten more than you can chew, and you will definitely thrive as an evaluator. With Okay, I would actually now like to get some feedback from our guest as to how the meeting was, what their impression was about Toastmasters. So I have Susangati. She's, I think, a first-time guest with us. Susangati, if you could. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right.
Hello, am
Hi.
I audible?
Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi. So did I pronounce your name right?
Yes.
Thanks.
It's Susangati.
Susangati. So tell us, what was your impression about the meeting? Though this was not a usual meeting, it was a little different from our normal meetings, a little longer as well, but nevertheless.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the session. Also, I liked about the interview process they have guided as well. So definitely it will be going to be helpful in future. So I felt good about this session, and I'm really looking forward to join others meetings and physical meetings too.
You're most welcome. I'll definitely get in touch with you and give you more details.
Thank you.
Manoj, would you have any feedback to give us?
Hey, hi, Libby.
Hi.
Altogether, it was a very wonderful session. And it's to resume Toastmaster again. And I could find our Indian Toastmaster family very lively and receptive to new guests. Thank you so much to everyone, especially PM Aditya and PM Mahesh, for sharing the valuable knowledge with us. And I'm looking forward to attend the meeting physically as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manoj. Sakshi, you knew I was coming to you.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Yes, so this is my third meeting, and and uh, and to be honest, I'm very happy, and I'm very happy to join this meeting as well. So since I've been attending, I've been coming to annual Toastmasters for last sorry, I'm nervous, but so basically, yes, I have been enjoying, and that's why I'm here again. So I'm looking forward to come to next meeting as well. I can see that these meetings are very well structured, and also the prepared speeches are very inspiring. We get to learn a lot. Also, uh, um, the suggestions given by our evaluators help us to understand how they evaluate and how do they think about what others are thinking. So yeah, I guess everything is connected, and I'm enjoying this. Thank you. Over to you, Dipi.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sakshi. I guess I have not missed any other guests. So with that, we can officially close this meeting. Thank you to all of you.